What's up, everybody? I'm Rick.
And I'm Anna, and welcome to our review of the 1939 movie Love Affair. Come have fun with us, and don't forget to subscribe. Released on April 7, 1939, Love Affair is an RKO radio picture movie based on a story by McCary and Mildred Cram. The film tells the story of a French playboy and an American former nightclub singer who fall in love aboard the ship. They arrange to reunite 6 months later after he has had a chance to earn a decent living. I mean, is that the only reason why they decided to reunite?
6 months later?
Yeah, I feel like there were other attachments that both of them had.
Their previous engagement, yeah. But
exactly.
I think that was the crux of it, because if it's
true.
about breaking the engagement, see you in a week, right?
Right, exactly. So, Rick, what did you think of this movie?
It was subversing my expectation at every turn. Every time I thought, oh, this is how it's going to go, right? This is easy. I can tell you what this movie is about. It did something else.
Yeah, exactly. And even the most obvious things, I feel, that you would have expected were changed.
Yeah. From the way the movie started and from the title, like Love Affair, I expected this to be about
a love affair.
Having an affair, right?
Yeah.
And very quickly, that is thrown out of the window, right? The situation with both of them being engaged, it doesn't stay a problem for long. The problems arise from other areas. One of the most surprising one is that she just gets hit by a car, which came out of nowhere to me.
I feel like, for me, that is the one element of the movie that appears in different scenes that surprised me the most, but was so unexpected, is how mundane some of these things are. Like the way she gets hit by the car, the way they meet again after, a long time, just in a theater. Like, it's so mundane. There's nothing spectacular about it, There's no, like, fateful, strange meeting. It's just...
it is life.
It's life, exactly.
No, and they do that throughout the movie about different stuff, right? Even when the grandmother, for example, dies, they don't make a huge deal about it, right? It just happens. You're not that surprised that it happened, but still, it's there.
I mean, it's a little bit foreseen in the movie because she does mention that one day I will give you my shawl.
Yeah, exactly.
You kind of understand that.
But that's just like you say, mundane, right?
Yeah.
He goes there and then she's there, he realizes. The whole movie is kind of like that. Like, it's just things that are happening to them that gets in the way of the two of them being together. And it's very interesting the way the whole thing goes down. Including the ending, where we don't really get an answer, right? There's the first 6 months until they meet, but then she gets hit by a car, and then there's another 6 months where they don't meet because she doesn't want to tell him that she got hit by a car, yeah. And she doesn't know whether she'll walk or not for 6 months. But then we never get that answer.
Yeah, exactly. Like, we don't know how is it actually gonna go, and I feel like there was supposed to be the important, element that you're waiting for. You're waiting to see, is she gonna walk again? Mm-hmm. But then it ends with the two of them just being reunited.
Yeah.
And it kind of makes you feel like it doesn't really matter.
It doesn't matter. That's the idea, right? It's like, whether you walk or not, we can.
They can still be
going.
together.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, it's a very enjoyable movie, and I feel like a lot of that has to do with the chemistry between the two leads.
Yeah, that is true. And that is also an interesting thing about this movie, is that it's not a movie of many characters. You have the two of them, and then there are a few other characters that appear here and there, but they're just support.
They come and go,
support. Yes, exactly. It's really a movie about the two of them, even when they're apart. It's a movie
about the two of them and their relationships with each other. And I say chemistry between the two of them because they're together a lot at the beginning and then at the very end. But for a large part of the movie, they are not together, right?
Yes.
Which is also very interesting.
But I feel like the movie really managed to show them kind of in parallel what the two of them are doing almost at the same time, where you almost feel like they're walking across this, this period of time. Like traversing this period of time with like a glass wall between them. That's the thing that it gave me, She's doing this, the singing, he's doing the painting, she's going to some place, he's going to another, It's like you see this advancement in parallel so that when they meet again, it's almost like...
But also they're moving towards a common destination, right? A common goal.
So in that sense, you still feel like they're kind of in spirit together, let's say. But yeah, we've been talking a lot about these characters, and I think it would be interesting to see who portrays them.
Yeah, sure.
off, the movie was directed by Leo McCarey, whom we've heard of before because he's also the director of Ruggles of Red Gap and The Awful Truth. And there's a little anecdote here about how McCarey came up with the idea for part of the movie, let's say. So at some point he had become tired of directing, so his wife convinced him to take a cruise trip to Europe. And then on the way back, they passed by the Statue of Liberty. And in that moment, he had the idea for like two lovers, or two people falling in love on a cruise trip.
Oh.
And that was also the inspiration for that scene, on the boat, on the cruise trip.
At the point, the Empire State Building.
Yes.
When you started your story, I thought you were going to say, and on the way back, he met a woman.
No.
And had a love affair.
No.
Yeah.
It was much simpler than that. And the movie stars Irene Dunne as Terry McKay, whom we've seen before in Cimarron and The Awful Truth.
I really enjoyed her, right? I enjoyed both the two main characters, and I think they worked the best when they were together, but even by herself, like when it was just her scenes, she's very enjoyable. I feel like it could have, because a lot of time these kind of situations kind of get on my nerve, like the kind of situation where the problem could be resolved if you just talk to each other.
Yeah.
But here she kind of, made me go with it, right?
Like, you understand why she made the choice to not contact him for all that time.
But yeah, I thought she was very good.
Yeah, I thought so too. I found it very interesting how her character was quiet at the right times. And she did manage to portray a lot of emotion and feeling in those quiet moments. I'm thinking mostly during her meeting with the grandmother. There are a lot of times where she's just quietly looking around and, observing.
But it works for that scene, what the scene is about, right?
Yes, but what I mean is that even though her character is quiet, she does still portray a lot of emotions during those scenes. So I thought she did that really well. It really impressed me. The movie also stars Charles Boyer as Michel Marnet. And you mentioned earlier how the two of them work so well together. Dunne and Boyer only had 3 movies together. However, they were, during that period of time, considered the most romantic pair at Hollywood. So their chemistry really translated very well on screen.
It's funny that you would say for 2 actors who've been in 3 movies together, they only did 3 movies together, right? I guess.
Yes, that compared to the romantic pairings that
we've seen a lot of pairings 7 movies together, etc. Nowadays, right? If 2 actors play in 3 movies together, you're like, oh, these 2 they're good friends. That's definitely, well, I haven't seen the other 2 movies, but definitely something I can get behind, right? Like I said, their chemistry was really one of the elements of the movie that made it work the most, and we really only see it in the first part of the movie on the boat and then at the very end, but it works so much, right?
Yes, that is true. What did you think of his performance in this movie?
I really liked it. I think it's interesting that with him and with Chevalier, we don't see much of anymore. These French actors tend to play the playboy type characters.
I wonder if there's a reason why. But I really liked his nonchalance. The character had it too, but the actor had it too, and you could tell in the way he was acting. He had this frivolous way about himself that I feel like it also suits the character of an artist, right? He's a painter, a painter who doesn't paint at the beginning of the movie.
But also he's walking that line of, a character who people tell us that he's kind of morally questionable, right? With his relationship to women, but he's not with her. And yet you still believe it.
I feel like maybe you believe that he had that and he kind of lost himself along the way. So now he's not doing it anymore.
Oh, that's not what I thought. I thought that he was a womanizer. It's just that he liked her, right? Because
that was better actually.
He leaves his fiancée for her.
If he was just interested for a while, he wouldn't have had an issue.
What he did with every other woman, seemingly.
Yeah.
But
since he actually liked her, he didn't want to ruin it.
But what I meant is more in the sense of a lot of times in movies, right? They'll tell you a character is something, but the character is acting a different way. Yeah. And you're like, oh no, this doesn't match. But here it matches, even though he's not acting like the womanizer.
We don't see that.
We don't see it.
Yeah.
But we still believe that he's a womanizer.
Yeah.
But also at the same time, we believe that he's in love with her.
Yes.
It's very interesting.
The movie also stars Maria Uspenskaya as the grandmother Janu, whom we've seen before in Dadsworth.
Yeah, she was a highlight in Dodsworth.
Yes, and I think a highlight in this movie too.
Yeah, she's very good.
Once again, a very short role.
Mm-hmm.
In this movie, she only appeared on screen for under 20 minutes, but it got her another nomination for supporting actress.
Yeah,
So,
she's good, yeah.
Yeah.
And you remember her, right? Her presence is felt. And
Definitely.
her absence is felt too, right? In the second half of the movie when you realize she's dead.
And I feel like her influence in the characters' lives, but through that also in the movie up until the end, is so like strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
One scene that I really liked with her was when they part at the end of that scene, when they visit her, when she stands at the top of the stairs and says something like, "This is the boundary of my small world."
Yeah.
Meaning that she can't actually go with them down the stairs because that's what I understood, because she's too old to go down those stairs. I watched that and it made me think, oh, this will come back. There's a reason why she said that. And then Terry gets into the accident and she can't move, she can't walk anymore. So I felt like that was kind of a throwback to what the grandmother said. Like now she's bound. She can't.
To whatever physical space she's in, because she can't move independently. Yeah.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was interesting. It was subtle and elegant, for the movie to put in that that parallel there, and I liked it so much.
But also in a way, right, the fact that she gets the Shah at the end when they are reunited, and it's kind of a way of also passing that baton, right? Like she was the one taking care of her grandson, right, in a way.
Yeah.
And now, like, it's you, right? You have to stand by his side and be there for him, even when the rest of the world might think that he's this way or that way. But their grandmother always knew that he was a good guy deep down, right?
Yeah, and Terry also, saw the good person in him.
Inside of him.
So apparently Leo McCarey, the director of this movie, had a very interesting directing method with a lot of improvisations and on-the-spot ideas, and giving the lead actors a lot of liberties in establishing their characters. So, for example, the signature song of the movie, Wishing, was chosen by Irene Dunne because it's the song that she sings. And in Wyatt's case, a lot of elements of his character that establish who his character actually is were like, he came up with them. So he was given the freedom to create his character the way he felt him. So that was very interesting, I thought.
That's always interesting for actors, right? That might be the reason why they seem so natural with the character itself, because they had input in the creation of those characters.
Yeah, and so then the character feels more like you, so that it's easier, obviously, to portray. Yeah. Another interesting fun fact about the movie, apparently after it was released, a lot of restaurants all over the place were bombarded with requests for pink champagne. Is what the characters request in the movie on the boat. So the movie was a commercial success. It was remade several times. First, McCarey himself remade it in 1957 as An Affair to Remember.
That's always interesting when the director remakes his own movies.
I wonder, like, why would you do that? Like, do you feel like you need to change something, or
you feel like you can do it better, right?
Or
it's that the technology has changed and you're like, I can do it the same but with color this time.
In 1994, Glenn Gordon Caron also remade the movie as Love Affair. Bollywood cinema also made two versions of the movie, one in 1965 and one in 1999. And Lux Radio Theatre broadcasted a 60-minute radio adaptation of the movie in 1942 with Wyatt and Irene Dunne reprising their roles.
Oh.
The Academy also acknowledged this movie greatly because it received 6 nominations. First off, it was nominated for Best Picture, which is why it is on our list and we have watched it. It was also nominated for Best Actress in a Leading Role for Irene Dunne, Best Actress in a Supporting Role for Maria Uspenskaya, Best Art Direction for Val Nest Polglaze and Alfred Herman, and Best Music Original Song for Buddy G. De Silva for the song Wishing.
So no wins?
No wins, no, it didn't win. That was it. Is there anything else that you would like to talk about in particular?
Not specifically, right? I think pretty much went around everything. There are, of course, scenes here and there that were memorable, but I think the essence of what I thought about the movie is there.
Yeah, I feel like that's also something that maybe we haven't mentioned and we should reinforce, that a lot of the scenes of the movie are just really good, like really well done.
Yeah.
And they work really well, especially the scenes with the two of them together. I feel are.
But even when it's by themselves, like right away when I think of scenes, the one where he's waiting on top of the Empire State, comes to mind. Like these are memorable moments that when you think back on the movie, still stick with you.
So that being said, would you recommend this movie?
Oh, definitely.
Yes, I would definitely recommend it too. I think it's a great movie to watch. I feel like above anything, it's a beautiful romance without it being cliche or cheesy or anything like that.
Yeah.
And from that point of view, I think you should definitely watch it.
And a romance where the two romantic characters are not together for a large part of the movie.
Yeah,
which
true. Well, that being said, I think it is time now for us to move on to the ranking. As you might already know, every year we rank the Best Picture nominees of that year according to our likings and preferences. And right now we are ranking the nominees of the 12th Academy Award, the movies of 1939. And so far on our list we have at number 2 Goodbye Mr. Chips and at number 1 Dark Victory. Where would you put Love Affair on this list?
I would put A Love Affair at number 1.
Yes, I would agree.
So I think these are not only the characters are very good, but we've had a slew of very good characters with these other two movies too. One of the things that I think I said for both previous movies is the total opposite of what I said here, is that this movie surprised me. Not that every movie has to be like surprising at every turn, but I thought I knew what I was getting into, and several times they surprised me, and it was a good surprise, like an interesting surprise.
Yeah, like you said, not every movie has to be surprising, but it's definitely a plus when it is, you know? And the fact that they managed to make essentially a romantic movie to go like above and beyond cliches of romance, I feel, is great. Like I can't really think of a lot of romantic movies that don't rely at least partially on cliches. Yeah. And yeah, from this point of view, I would really give it a plus. And yeah, I think it should be at number 1.
Yeah, so we agree.
Which makes our ranking so far at number 3, Goodbye Mr. Chips, at number 2, Dark Victory, and at number 1, Love Affair. And if you have also watched the movie Love Affair, let us know what you thought about it by commenting in the comment section below and also by rating it on our website. The link is in the description box below. Also, don't forget that we have watched this movie as part of our bucket list goal to watch every Best Picture nominee from 1927 to 2028. So far we have watched 100 movies.
100!
As part of that list.
100!
The first 100.
Yes.
Only 500 left now. And if you want to watch along with us, the next movie that we're gonna be watching and reviewing is Ninochka. So go ahead and watch it and then come back for our next review. But if you don't want to miss that next review, then you should subscribe to this channel right now so that you'll be notified whenever we bring a new video to you. And also like this video if you liked it.
Yeah.
Also, don't forget, if you yourself have a goal or a dream that you want to realize, take that first step.
Bye.
Bye-bye.